Hi everyone, we've prepared a video presentation that will bring this classroom to the heart of Europe. And it's my honor and pleasure to introduce this country. And are you ready?
Yeah. Yes.
Philippines, Czech, Morocco, and Taiwan. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Germany. Germany is a federal parliamentary republic in Western Central Europe, consisting of 16 constituent states. Its capital and the largest city is Berlin. Germany covers an area of 357,021 square kilometers and has largely temperate seasonal climate with 80.6 million people, and it's the most populous member state in European Union. Germany is a major economic and political power of the European continent and a historical leader in many cultural, theoretical, and technical fields. After the United States, Germany is the second of the most popular migration destination in the world. The English word Germany derives from the Latin Germania, which came into use after Julius Caesar adopted it for the people east of the Rhine. Since its unification in 1989, Germany is one of the largest countries in Europe, with Berlin as its capital once more. Without doubt, Germany contains many geographical features varying from coast into Baltic and north into the ecosystem of the Alps. Germany shares borders with Austria, Belgium, the Czech Republic, Denmark, France, Netherlands, Poland, and Switzerland. So German is the main language spoken. Although local German dialects can be prevalent, Germany is a fairly secular country. Even though the vast majority of the country is Christian, with 38% of the population, considering themselves Protestant and almost 34% as Catholic. Jewish and Muslim minorities are also significant within Germany. Germany's climate is almost varied as countryside, but its most temperature. Extreme low and high temperature are rare. Winter temperature vary from east to west, with around freezing temperature in the west and below freezing in eastern Germany. Summer temperatures in Germany are typically between 20 and 30 degrees Celsius, with more rainfall during the summer months. As you can see, the Reichstag was the parliament in Germany from 1871 to 1918. Legislation was shared between Reichstag and Bundesrat, which was the Imperial Council of the reigning princes of the German states. The Victory Column is one of the most visited places in Germany. It is a monument in Berlin, Germany, designed by Heinrich Straub after 1864 to commemorate the Prussian victory in the Danish-Prussian War. This is the Reichstag. The Brandenburg Gate is an 18th century neoclassical triumphal arch in Berlin and one of the best-known landmarks of Germany. It is built on the site of former city gate that marked at the start of the road from Berlin to the town of Brandenburg under Harvard. It's a square in Berlin and the site of the concertos and the French and German cathedrals. It is the central of the square stands a monument statue of Germany renowned the poet Friedrich Schiller. The square was created by Johann Arnold Nering at the end of the 17th century as the Lindenmark. One of the famous places also in Germany is Museum Island. It is the name of the northern half of an island in the Spree River in the central middle of district of Berlin, Germany. And as you can see, the memorial to the murdered Jews of Europe, it is one of the most evocative and controversial monuments to the Holocaust. And it was designed by the American architect Peter Eisenman. The Topography of Terror is an outdoor and indoor history museum in Berlin, Germany. And for the last one, the East Side Gallery is an international memorial for freedom. It is a 1.3 kilometer long section of the Berlin Wall, located near the center of Berlin. It is the actual border at this point was the river Space. So as you can hear, the music is one of their music used in Germany. And now I pass to Lisa.
Thank you, Nat, for the wonderful introduction. As you can see, there are a lot of reasons why you should visit Germany. Aside from the introduction and the 5 reasons to visit, we're going to talk about Hofstede's cultural dimensions, some German stereotypes, and we're going to have a do's and don'ts game, and later I'm going to teach you also some German. Okay, going back to Hofstede's cultural dimensions, as a reference, compared it with Taiwan. So there are some differences with Taiwan, especially regarding power distance, individualism, and masculinity. Germany has a rather low power distance, meaning that German people, they do not really seek, or they don't like to be controlled, or they don't like being led too much, so it is important for them to have co-determination rights. So when you make a decision, we always want to be included. We really dislike having decisions made for us and not having a say. And one example, for me would be when I came to Taiwan, or sometimes when I go for dinner with some Chinese people, they will order everything for everyone. Especially, they like to do that, especially for foreigners. And so German people, we don't really like that because we can't decide what we want to have for dinner. So as I mentioned, control is disliked. And what's really important about German leadership is that you have to have expert knowledge. Expertise is the basis of leadership. And you're not an expert, you're going to be challenged by your subordinate, and they're going to be questioning you constantly whether you're a competent leader and if you have the right to even be in such a position. And the communication style is very direct and also participative. And so, for example, when you talk to professors, even though we have to show respect, if we don't like something, we'll say it directly. And we won't we won't sugarcoat it or use euphemism. Okay, individualism is pretty high in Germany. This means that we care more about ourselves than about society. And so, for example, in families, when we think about our family, we usually just think about our, like parents and children, and not so much about your aunt or your uncle, your great-great-grandma, or things like that. Self-actualization is pretty important, so having a high education or a high standard of living, working hard for yourself is a key in German society. And when it comes to German people, it's actually very hard to make friends with them. A really good example for me is, for example, I've met some people here that I've only known for 4 months, and I'm so close with them, and back home in Germany, I've known people for 2 years, and we're not as close as the people that I've known here for 4 months. So there's German people, it's really hard to get to know them, but once you do, you can be sure that they're going to be your friends for life. And once again, communication is very direct, and German people are very blunt and honest, and you shouldn't take it as impoliteness. For example, in our home university, when we give group presentations, every peer has to give feedback, and it's not just the professor that gives feedback, and it's not like, oh, you're so wonderful. It's actually constructive criticism. So if they didn't like your presentation, they're going to tell you that what they didn't like and what you have to do better, and German people really believe that this is the key in becoming, to constantly better yourself. And because if no one tells you how you're going to know what you're going to do better next time. Germany is a very masculine society. Performance is highly valued. For example, after elementary school, we're all divided into separate schools, and we have something called Gymnasium, Mittelschule, and Realschule. And it's like a different class. It's a different class of school. So gymnasium is the highest. So when you're very good in school, you go in there. And when you're not good in school, you go to Mittelschule. And already after elementary, it sets your path for your career. Because if you're in gymnasium, you go to university and then you have a high-paid job. Whereas if you go to Hauptschule, you're probably just going to join an apprenticeship and maybe just get a little or not so well-paid job. And so Germans really try to push their children to get into gymnasium. And Germans live in order to work, so we don't work in order to enjoy our lives. Managers in Germany have to be decisive and assertive, or even generally when you talk to Germans, they hate wasting time, and it's important that you always to the point. For example, maybe in the States, when you ask someone where the toilet is, you would probably just ask, oh, could you show me where the bathroom is, or in a polite way. Where in Germany, you just ask, where's the toilet? You don't talk around your point. And status is important, especially with cars. Germany is famous for producing high-quality or luxury cars. So, if you have an Audi or BMW, Mercedes, everyone knows that you have a very high status or good career. Okay, there's slight uncertainty about it in Germany, and we have this uncertainty about it because we're an individualistic country, so we're responsible for ourselves, meaning that the leader is not responsible for your work, you're responsible for your own mistakes. And that's why German people love to go into a lot of details to make sure that when they're presenting, they don't make any mistakes, or when people ask questions, they're able to answer or come up with a plan B immediately. Yeah. And Germany is a pragmatic country. According to Hofstede, Germans adapt to traditions easily to constantly changing situations. I have to disagree personally. I'm from Bavaria, which is a very conservative area in Germany, and I don't agree at all that Germans adapt easily or that they like change. What's true about Germany is that they have a strong will to save money and to achieve good results. And lastly, the indulgence. Germany is low in indulgence, so that means that they're restrained in culture. They don't like to spend a lot of money, or they don't like to go out a lot to spend money. And they're actually very cynic and pessimistic people because, for example, one of their hobbies is to complain all the time. I'm from a small village, and my aunt always complains about her neighbors or people, like, oh my God, she changed her curtains yesterday, or oh my God, she slept more than longer than 10 p.m. And German people really like to complain. And the thing they love to complain the most about is the Deutsche, which you can see there's an example because it's a very, very bad train system in Germany. It's always late. So you can see in the cartoon where he's asking the guy, oh, how long have you been waiting? And he's waited so long that he already died and turned into a skeleton. Okay, yeah, so for me, this is pretty accurate of what Germany is.
And I'm going to say something about that. The previous is the introduction about Germany, but I'm going to make a comparison between Taiwan and Germany. And in the power distance part, and in Taiwan we usually don't have the chance to choose any class. Always teacher arrange the course for us, so we just do what teacher told us to do. And the power of teacher is much stronger than students. And there are also some rules in school, and if students don't follow the teacher's instructions, maybe you will be punished by the school rules. And individualism part, and most of the people in Taiwan are very clear about what other people think about them. And so most of them just give you an example that just like you are listening to a concert, and if there are no one is clapping hand, and then whole the concert will be quiet. And because people always like to follow the group, because they are afraid of losing their face. Yeah. And masculinity, and I think this part Taiwan school qualifies on this dimension and is a little bit lower to intermediate. And yeah, I think they are a good exam with Germany, and is working in order to read. And pragmatism. This part, I think Taiwan school very high in this part, because Taiwan has started to build a lot of historical cultural center, and it also combined with the modern elements, and it can attract some young people or old people who come to join with it to learn the culture. And I think this part Taiwan is did a good job. Yeah, I think that's it in the Taiwan's part, and you guys can make a comparison with Germany.
Okay, so now time for a little bit more interactions. Please wake up because I'm going to give you the mic. We wanted to talk about German stereotypes. Well, first, the interesting thing is that we are both Asian and European and Western, and well, very different culture mixed in this class. So the thing that I've noticed is that in most of Asian countries, or at least very specifically in Taiwan, we don't really have lots of prejudices against other countries. But in Europe we do. We do have a lot of that. So I'm first going to be more focused on Asian people and ask you if you know some stereotypes about Germans and Germany. And please, European people, Western people, for now, just stay quiet. Nothing? Come on, Pauline. Have you ever been to Germany? No one? Just Pauline?
I think they do.
Yeah.
I think generally in Taiwan, like our stereotypes on Germans are that they're really like they're on time, like and their crafts are really good.
And their
Craft, like for lenses or cars or things like that.
Great. Anyone else? Yeah, TJ?
They like beer.
Easy one, yes. Yeah. Someone has ever been in Germany? Yeah?
They're horrid people.
Sorry?
Horrid.
Okay. So now we'll let the Western people talk because obviously they want to say too much. So, Ben?
They sound pissed off all the time.
So what?
They sound pissed off. They sound mad. Like when you talk German, it's like angry.
Angry.
Okay.
Yeah.
Who agrees with that? Asian people, you don't agree with that? You've never heard German?
Okay, Lisa, can you speak German now?
I thought Koreans are more. Korean sounds more aggressive. Like, everything sounds like if they're cursing. Not really. No, I'm a Korean.
Okay.
I remember the thing, so it's like when you're picking up like some special words, yeah, it sounds like when you're really quiet, it sound. But when like German people talk to each other, it's like sound alright.
Okay. Maybe Lisa has something to say about that, because obviously I know there are very different types of accent in Germany, and she said she was from Bavaria, right?
Yeah.
So can you maybe explain that?
It's actually true that there are a lot of dialects, and even for me, I find some dialects sound harsher than others. And German people like to actually make fun of other people's dialects. Like where I'm from, it's Franconia, and people pronounce things also kind of strange, and so they say that it's like the farmer's German. And then there's the east of Germany, where people sound a bit, to me it sounds harsher than Franconia, but that's just my opinion.
Can you give like an example?
No. I have very normal German, city German.
Okay, can you say something?
I can't speak that like,
No?
no.
Like, can you say something with your accent, like basic?
No, I don't have one.
But just so they can hear.
Oh, just like, later.
Okay, later. So any more prejudices? I know that Eve and Sandra were raising their hands.
A couple of them were mentioned already, but
Yeah?
one of the other, well, it's not really the stereotype, it's something like the image that I have of Germans. Like on Sunday, it's like the entire country is empty, there's like nothing there. I've been there on Sunday, and it was like, I was the only person, and I'm not German, so I don't know, where are you people on Sunday?
They actually have a law that Sunday is the silent day or like rest day. So all the shops are closed on Sunday, and you're not allowed to do any work that makes a lot of noise. So there's no vacuum cleaning or mowing lawns. And actually, if you do that, your neighbors are allowed to call the police on you, and then you have to pay a fine. So yeah, Sundays and dirty kind of thing.
Okay, something else?
I heard Germans used to be stigmatized as greedy people. Sorry? Used to be stigmatized as greedy people. Greedy, and
I think those are Dutch people. No, but I think it's kind of true that German people are more careful about how they spend their money. They're not very into luxury goods items unless they really can afford it. Or like in Germany, especially discounters are very popular. Those are like supermarkets that sell things cheaper than standard supermarkets. And they're very popular in Germany because German people, they like to save their money. Yeah, I think for Germans it's also because of the history with the wars, so I think it's still in their mind.
Oh, and like all the movies you guys make are all about second
I don't think that's true. No,
most of the time.
No.
I think just the famous ones.
Well, maybe I think we can stop. I don't think we have time if I want to show the video. Okay. Because there are also different types of stereotypes. But if you want to check out, especially for Asian people, you have that video on YouTube, which is really funny. And that explains in detail the stereotypes. So you can check that. And now we'll let Kyle talk because there is a small game. And basically what you have to do is imagine that you're perfect German, and we're going to give you a situation, and according to what you know about Germany, you will have to behave like you're German and give the correct answer. And you will have a guess as well.
Yeah, let's play. And if you answer correct answer, and if the end, we will give you some small gifts. So don't hesitate to raise your hand. And okay, let's go to the first question. Oh, one day the German friends invite you to join a party, and he said, and we'll meet at 7 p.m. And what should we do? And A is we can go to their home at 6:50, and B is 7 o'clock, and C is 7:10. And which answer is the best? And let you guess. And if you think of A is the correct answer, please raise your hand. And B, and okay, I see. And B, and C. Okay, let us look at the answer. Oh, B is the correct answer. So if you raise B, and please raise your hand again. Thank you. Don't lie. And let me explain it to you. Because German people is very punctual, so you can't be late on any meeting. And if you arrive earlier, you have to wait until the on time. You know, if you arrive at 6:50, you have to wait outside until 7. So that is the first question, and let us look at the second question. And if you are thirsty in restaurant, what should you do? What should you do? You are thirsty, you must die. What should you do? And you can ask for the waiters, and the A is ask for a beer, and B is juice, and C is a type of water. So if you think of answer is A, raise your hand. No one. And B, raise your hand. C? Oh, really? Oh, okay. You are so smart. The correct answer is water. Because if you are in Germany, you ask for water, it means you are very stinginess. You are very stinginess. And you have to ask for some other kind of drink, like sparkling and beer, or just not ask for a type of water. Because they will think you are stinginess, or you are going to take a medicine, or what, I don't know. So let us look at the third question. And okay. What should you do before eating? 3, 2, 1. The answer is shake hands with the people in the same table, and B is say guten appetit, and C is drink a type of aperitif. And you think of that answer is A, raise your hand. B, raise your hand. C, raise your hand. B. Okay, let's look at the fourth question. Okay, because we are running out of time, so the game is over. Thank you for listening. Yeah.